Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with Cami. If you're watching us in our Facebook group or on the YouTube channel, if you're listening to this on the podcast, it's Homeschool Success with Cami Wanis. I am so excited today. You guys, I'm seriously juiced today. It's going to be so awesome. This is going to be a really great opportunity for us to talk about something that I'm seeing a lot in Facebook groups all over the place. And with everybody getting started in homeschooling, and with people who are just really have been homeschooling for a while but never got in their groove. You guys, this is something that's huge. We're going to talk about the foundations of what to do before you pick curriculum. I see in so many Facebook groups, you guys, so many Facebook groups. How do I choose a curriculum for a third grader? Or what's a great curriculum for a preschooler? Or what's a great math curriculum for an eighth grader? Or I'm just getting started. I'm looking at this curriculum, this curriculum, this curriculum. Which one is the best, right? Well, no one can tell that for you, guys. No one can tell that for you. You can narrow the field maybe a bit, but you usually come up with like 20 different responses that everybody says are awesome, and they probably are for them, right? But maybe not for you and your family because every family is different. You guys, it's so cool. If you're just popping on with me right now, I want you to put in the comments some of the things that you consider before you choose curriculum and why that's important. And while you do that, I'm just going to tag everyone in here real quick, okay? So that everybody knows where we are. And I want you to be able to think about that there isn't just a blanket, here's what's a great curriculum for everyone, because everybody's situation is different. So what are the things that you think are great or things to have in place before you pick curriculum? What are some of the things to consider, right? So I'm going to do that while you guys are putting that in the comments, and I'm going to type here for just a second because I am incapable of typing and talking at the same time. So put in the comments what you think is important to consider before choosing curriculum. Okay. So consider and what you need, what foundations you need to have in place. Because there are some very important foundations to have in place before you pick curriculum. Okay. You choose curriculum. Like I said, I am not very good at the whole doing that. Alicia says my children's learning style and if it's super friendly for me. I love that. Alicia, what do you mean by super friendly for me? Do you mean like it doesn't take a lot of time or to prep, or like it's open and go, or friendly in terms of that it's easy to navigate? What do you mean by that? I'm curious. Okay. All right. Perfect. Awesome. I'm excited. Did you guys put that in there? Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Okay. So, children's learning style. I love that. Good job, you guys. Yeah, definitely. The learning style is very important. So everybody learns in a different way, and everybody has a different way that they take in information and can process it, right? And they also have personality styles, which makes a difference too. But I really want you to think about like more than that, right? Okay, so things somebody said, let's see who that is. Let's see. Melissa, awesome. Melissa says, in terms of her picking curriculum, she talks about your values and beliefs behind the curriculum, and is it something that my child would enjoy? I absolutely love that. Yes, all of those things for sure. Super awesome. I'm going to share with you some other things that you might not have thought about, okay? So this is super fun because we're going to talk about not only things that are things you would normally think about, like some people have said here in the comments, learning styles, if it's something that's user friendly for you, which are all very important, right? Your values and beliefs behind the curriculum. I love that. And something your child would enjoy. That's all wonderful things. There are some things that we need to consider even before that we are going to be putting into into place in our home and in our homeschool that will help you really navigate that list down even more, because what you're going to come across, you're going to come across this whole gigantic ocean of curriculum that you're like, I don't even know, right? I don't even know where to start. Where do I pick? And then you narrow it down a little bit based on the things that some of our watchers have talked about today. So learning styles, personality styles, values and beliefs in your curriculum, something your child would enjoy, user friendly, those kinds of things are very practical, right? That narrows the list a little bit, but then there's still some like real big wiggle room in there. And what the problem is about going straight into the curriculum saying, okay, we're going to homeschool. Woo, let's get started, right? Okay, we're going to homeschool, so I need to pick curriculum. Stop first. Stop. Don't start just yet, because if you don't have these things in place and you don't have these things already determined, then what happens is you end up wasting time, wasting money, having a lot of frustration, maybe picking a curriculum that doesn't fit for your family or is like, it's okay. And love of learning will drop. Okay. Love of learning might not be super amazing to begin with, but it will drop even further. And then you have frustration, right? Which is really, really, really hard, because then you're like, I don't even know if I can do this. I don't know if this is meant for us. Maybe we should just go back to public school, whatever the case, right? Seriously, you need to take first thing, you guys, if you're taking notes, which I highly recommend, first thing is you need to take account of your love of learning. What is your family's love of learning like right now? Every child has a different level of love of learning, especially when they're coming from public. So, what is their level like? Is it really high? Do they really love learning? Or is it kind of low? And I talk about this in another episode of my lives and in the podcast. So make sure that you go back and really look at where your level of love of learning is at, because we talk about what it looks like when it's good and what it looks like when it's not. And there are some things that you might think, okay, well, I didn't think about that as being part of love of learning, but it really is, because like I say, love of learning affects everything. You guys, love of learning affects everything. If your love of learning isn't high, it doesn't matter what curriculum you're going to pick. It's not going to resonate. It's going to be something where you're checking the boxes. Okay. And that's another thing, you guys. So the second thing is I want you to consider how much, how, first of all, consider love of learning. And then second, consider how much you're going to how much time you're going to put, how much energy you're going to put, how much you're going to it's going to fit in your schedule, those kind of things, right? So I want you to consider those kinds of things. And if your level of love of learning is not high, then we need to talk. We need to you need to call me. Okay, let's book a call together. You can go to thefreedomscholar.com, book a call right there. It's a free call, and let's talk, because we want to get that love of learning high. We really do. And we want to heal. If they're coming from public, they've been bullied, they've had bad experiences, we want to heal that first. Okay? And so what happens is you'll end up doing a family reset, which we can talk about. So make sure you give me a call. And then after you do the family reset, your family's going to be in a totally different place. So you might need to do that picking curriculum later after you have all that stuff in. If your family's level of learning is high, there's a lot of other things to consider as well as just love of learning. You can consider you you guys, I made this mistake, is considering where their readiness is. Okay. Where's their readiness? And maybe they have a hiccup in one subject matter or not. Okay. So that's something to consider as well. Because when I first started homeschooling, you guys have probably heard this before, but when I first started homeschooling, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. We're going to get all the books. I got all these books. I got all this curriculum. I got a little desk. It was a cute little desk. And I was like, we're going to sit down and we're going to do this. And my son was like, oh, he's 6 years old and he's going along. He's like, okay, this is fun, whatever, for about 15 minutes. And then he's kind of done because he's 6 and that's what happens. So he gets up and I'm like, "Well, wait, hold on. There's this over here and look, we could do this. Let's do this page. This is awesome." And he goes, "Oh, okay." Well, he likes to please mommy and whatever. That's kind of fine. So we do another page and then he's kind of done. And then I'm like, "Well, wait. We could do this one over here." And he's, oh my gosh, again. He's like, "Okay, we'll do another one." He's pleasing me, whatever. And then he's done. I mean, done. Done. Like frustrated, done. And I'm feeling frustrated because I'm feeling like, well, that wasn't very much. How are we going to get done what we need to get done? How is he going to ever learn what he needs to learn? And I've got teacher mentality because I was a high school English teacher. And so I'm trying to get all this stuff in, and he's just done. And pretty soon, what I notice is that we're both crying every single day because we're both frustrated. And what I realized is I stepped back and I was like, hey, man, this is not the way it's supposed to be. We're hating life and I don't know, it's stressful for everyone. It creates tension in the whole household. So when you first are starting and you try to get into curriculum right away and you try to pick curriculum just because you need to pick curriculum, that's not the place to start. It's where we think we should start because it's what we know as being schooled ourselves and from society and all this stuff. We think that's what we need to do, but it's not. It's not the things, because what I found is that we were in this pit, right? We were in this pit and we were like, what is happening? And I realized that I was doing everything exactly the way I didn't do in public school. I never did that in public school. We never used the textbooks. They were always in the back. And I really wanted to do real world learning with them. So it's important that, and I watched my son's level of love of learning drop as we're sitting there like crying every day. And I was like, this is messed up, man. And I realized that what we needed was we needed a foundation. I needed to understand, and what I did through all my research, when I stopped and I stepped back, I did a whole bunch of research and I really looked at where we were going, what we were doing, what I believed about education. And I read, and I didn't have a me to consult about that. I didn't have a roadmap or anything. So I was just searching, doing all this research, right? And finally, I figured out that what I needed was an end goal. We got to start with the end in mind. You guys, that's what the Freedom Scholar Roadmap is all about. It's about having this end goal here. And we're starting over here and we want to reach this end goal. Well, what is that for you? That's what you want to do. That's the third thing. Figure out what your end goal is. And then there are checkpoints along the way that help us get to that goal. And that's what the Freedom Scholar Roadmap is all about. The first thing we do in the Freedom Scholar Roadmap is first, we talk about what your limiting beliefs are that prevent you from, or that are inhibiting you from opening your mind up about learning expectations and what learning is all about, because we all have them. I had a lot of them. You guys know, what do I call that? The educational should, right? The educational should is the thing that that's you're shoulding on yourself. You're saying, "Oh, we should be learning more." Did you notice like what I was doing when my kid was 6 and I'm like, "We should be doing more. We should be learning this. We haven't done any math today," right? And I'm shooting on myself, right? Where kids might fall behind. How's he ever going to learn everything he needs to know? This is the shooting part. We have to unlearn that. It's really, really important. I have a whole podcast episode on that, episode number 6. And then also, it's the first thing we talk about in the Freedom Scholar Roadmap. And then we talk about limiting beliefs, really attacking that. And then we talk about, what's that end goal look like? Really defining that clearly. And then we talk about what your beliefs are. And I love that Melissa said that. What are your beliefs? What about learning? About what expectations are about how people learn? That's really important for you to know. And if you don't know that, we have to get really clear on that. And so we walk you through all of those things and we show you how to do that. And so that's what the Freedom Scholar Roadmap is about, you guys. That's what the foundations are. And we don't literally talk about choosing curriculum until I think it's lesson 5 or 6. I think it's 6, because at checkpoint 6, because you have to have these foundations in place first. Okay. So, and if you need a family reset, that's step number 1. That's step number 1 because you're gonna be in a whole new place when you're through your family reset, you're resetting those learning expectations, routines, you're healing, you're building confidence in your kids and you, and you're also getting down, okay, what does our day like look like? What did I and meanwhile, you're learning all these things in the Freedom Scholar roadmap. You're learning about, what's that endpoint? What do I think about learning? How do I feel about it? What do I want us to be able to do, be able to know, be able to be? Those things are really, really important. Okay. Those are very foundational. And then we can go into, okay, now that we know that, now we can go into, yeah, the practical things like about how much time it's gonna take for me to prep, how much time it's gonna take them to get through lessons, how what their learning styles are, all of those things, right? Those are the things that we look for to narrow it even further, and these things are super foundational. All that before stuff, you have to have in place. If you don't, you're just shooting in the dark. Well, I think this curriculum might be okay, this curriculum might be okay, and then I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen people on Facebook posts saying, "I've gone through 3 curriculums this year and we still can't they're still struggling and they're still having, to just be coaxed into doing their work." And yeah, guess what? It's not the problem. The curriculum is typically not the problem. Love of learning. Is it low? Is it high? That's the problem. That's the problem. If love of learning is high, everything is better. Everything is easier. You guys, we have to take care of that first. And you need to contact me. Seriously, I have ways that we can figure out how to get your love of learning high and renegotiate. I don't care how old your kids are. I don't care what they've been through. We can heal that. But it is going to take that first before you can jump into all the other things and then set those foundations in place and then you pick curriculum. I know some states they say, "Yeah, you need to pick curriculum before you even schedule homeschooling." Okay, pick a curriculum. Just pick anything. Who cares? And tell them that's what we're going to do. If you don't have time, if you need to pull them right away, sure, tell them that's what you're going to do. You can change it later. It doesn't matter. It's fine. And then if you have time, if you're not going to pull them right away from school, or if you're not starting right away, do the foundational things first and then pick your curriculum and then tell them. Okay. That's the key. That's the key. So, yeah, there are a couple states where it's like, yeah, you need to submit lesson plans and things like that. I get it. Just tell them what you're using. Tell them something. I'll help you make up a plan. You need to call me. You need to contact me. We'll figure it out. Okay. I got you guys. I got you guys. This is the best part. I love doing this. This is awesome. And this is something I didn't know. I made the same mistake. I was an educator and I still made the same mistake because it's not all that stuff is not part of the plan when we're in public school. That's not part of the plan. This is stuff we need to figure out for homeschooling because we have control over all that and we can design it however we want. Please, please don't pick curriculum right away. And then 5 years down the road, you've been struggling and struggling. And nobody's loving learning. Nobody's learning anything. And you're not creating lifelong leaders and lifelong learners. If you want to create lifelong learners, you have to do these things. It's so important. You need to contact me. Like I said, thefreedomscholar.com. You can just book a call right there, or you can send me a message on social media and we can chat. I'm always in Facebook Messenger. I check my Instagram all the time. You guys, let's chat and let's figure this out because these are foundational principles that you need to have in place that are going to direct you to a high level of retention, lifelong learning, and really awesome homeschool experience. It is so amazing now, you guys. I have my son coming to show me. He's trying to learn coding by himself. He just came up with it. He told Chat GPT, make me a course on learning Python code. And so he just did it all. Now he's like, I did all that. So now he's like, I need to apply it to a project. So he's researching all this stuff and applying it to a project. He just came to me with a huge conversation last night that was all about how to really l- live full out in your life and all these principles. And you guys, he was he was referencing book after book after book after book that he's read, and all of these great success principles that he knows and he's applying in his life, because he wants to create a course for kids about how to get their stuff together and be leaders and own their own education. Man, this is exciting. It's super fun. You guys got this. You can do it. I believe in you. Contact me, send me a message. Go to thefreedomscholar.com, book a call. Let's talk. It's totally free. Let's talk. This is my passion. I want you guys to succeed. So let's do this together. All right, you guys, I will talk to you next week. We have a fabulous guest with us, and you are going to love it. So I'll talk to you then, and I'll see you in the Facebook group and on social media. Bye bye.